Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. Right, we have the semi-finals of the WTA Madrid Open are on the horizon. We're going to go through those. You might be pretty surprised about who's in the semi-finals. I am as well, to be perfectly honest. I mean, Jabeur, I guess, is not a huge surprise. I tend to like her style of play, and I almost always predict her to go relatively deep in a tournament. But everyone else, I think, is a pretty big surprise. Although Jessica Pegula, even sorry, has made more quarterfinals than anyone in Masters 1000 tournaments, I think, for the last 12 months, I think it is. So, an impressive stat for the American there. Right, let's go into this then. So, first of all, before we do actually, do remember to hit that like button, please, if you haven't done so already, and do also subscribe to the channel if you are new. On top of that, if you're listening or watching on a podcast platform, do leave a rating or a review. Thank you very much. Right, so first of all, let's go over um, Ons Jabeur versus Ekaterina Alexandrova. So Tunisian versus the Russian. I'm just going to quickly go through their matches to this stage. I think Alexandrova is a qualifier as well. She had to come through Korpatchin straight sets. Of course, she ended up playing against Raducanu in the Stuttgart Open. Raducanu ended up beating her, but she has a little bit about her. Serves a little bit weak, although she did beat Camila Giorgi in that Stuttgart Open tournament. So good win for Alexandrova. Then beat Burrell, which is a good win. The Frenchman, Ostapenko, obviously former French Open champion, good win there. Parizas Diaz in straight sets. Boskova in three. And then a really good win over Anisimova, I thought, in straight sets as well. So she's in some really good form. And it'll be interesting to hear the head-to-head, and I know what the head-to-head is, but when you hear it, you might be a bit surprised between these two. Let's go through Halep's run, though, so far. So Paolini, the very talented young Italian, should beat her in straight sets in the first round. Or second round even. Gracheva in her next match in three sets. Bencic in three sets as well. Of course, a very, very tough match there, I thought. The number 11 seed Bencic. And yeah, that was an interesting match for sure. Very, very exciting. And the Halep match, which at the start, she looked like she was struggling for a little bit of... She was just struggling a little bit for, I think, rhythm. But it was on serve. She saved a couple of break points, and it was almost like it snapped. And she thought to herself, "Hold on, okay, I need to really step it up," and she did. And we know how exciting Ons Jabeur's game is, and she has these phenomenal drop shots and great touch and feel around the net. And on top of that, she's able to do kind of different things, like slice on the backhand a lot on the clay court. You know, she'll hit little dink shots, and she's also got power as well. She's got very underrated, I think, first serve. Her first serve is really, really good. Backs it up nicely on the 1+ plays as well. I think she's not afraid to hit a backhand on the 1+ shot, and that's probably because the backhand can be a weapon at times. I think she's just got an all-round very solid game, and she's got this extra flair that makes her so exciting to watch, which is why I think so many people talk about her. And she is that exciting, I think. Simona Halep was a really good win because she's been in some fantastic form. She's beaten Badosa, she beat Coco Gauff, and she's got Mouratoglou in her corner at the moment. And he seems to be getting almost the best out of her in the very short sample size we've seen so far of their relationship. But Simona Halep, I think, is looking to have Indian summer, and I think she might do. I wouldn't be surprised if she also starts going deep in all of these clay court tournaments she enters into. She's not strapped up anymore. She's fit. She's healthy. She's diving around everywhere. The back end on the line is almost, I mean, it's sublime. The only big issue she had was her serve was getting attacked a lot by Ons Jabeur, but she's a very, very good returner, the Tunisian. And I thought she was really impressive in the return games. And yes, at times overplayed the drop shot, but for the most part, it was actually executed to perfection. So I think overall a very, very good win. I was really impressed with her. She managed to stick with Halep in most of the rallies, especially in the backhand to backhand exchanges. That's what I think that's what impressed me the most. The backhand slice she utilized pretty well at times, maybe tried to overuse it, and then as soon as she went a bit short, Halep punished her. So Jabeur, I think, then realized, okay, I've really got to be on top of my game on that side, the backhand side especially. In the forehand side, I think she knew, okay, yeah, I can definitely have success there. And then, she doesn't mind and isn't afraid to go down the line on both wings. She's happy to take the ball early there. So she's just a really exciting player on Jabeur. At times, obviously she can go through patches in matches or even tournaments where um, her form drops a little bit and she maybe goes for too much, and it's all over the place. Too many drop shots, too many kind of cute little like dinks and here and there. And I think generally though, in that match, I thought she was really, really good. And if she plays like that, she's got a very good chance. But the interesting thing is that Ekaterina Alexandrova has a 6-1 head-to-head against Ons Jabeur. Now, you wouldn't think that, but you have to remember that Ons Jabeur hasn't been the player that we're looking at now for that long. She's improved drastically in the last probably 2 years, I would say. Now, Alexandrova, a 6-1 head-to-head record, very lopsided. She's only ranked 45 in the world at the moment, but she's got the upper hand in the matchup. Now, I have to be honest with you, I have seen Alexandrova play, but I haven't seen a huge deal of her in this tournament compared to Ons Jabeur. So I can more talk about what I think Ons Jabeur should be doing and what I think she goes into it the favourite despite the head-to-head. However, it's going to be a difficult match because mentally I think she'll know that head-to-head going into it. But Ons Jabeur needs to serve really well. It is the first thing. She serves big, and I think hits her spots. It's going to be really difficult for Alexandrova to make inroads into the Ons Jabeur serve. And also, if she returns like she did against Halep, which I thought was really impressive, especially on the second serve returns, and she was aggressive on it, she was proactive, it makes a huge, huge difference. I think generally, hitting at some point she hit the drop shot on the second serve return. I'll just cut that out completely. I think that should be a once in a match maybe occurrence, but I think it's not really the right play considering how well she can return the second serve and how much power she's able to generate as well and really rush her opponent. So I think she needs to really cash in on the second serve return point and also mix it up a little bit. At times she came to the net, which was great, approached really well. She's got good touch and feed around the net. Why not mix it up a little bit and don't get into the comfort zone of just sitting and hugging the baseline. I think, yes, the drop shot is going to be crucial. We know that, but she needs to make sure she doesn't overplay it. And then I think for me, she is the big favorite. For Alexandrova, I mean, if she plays like how she's been playing, it's that level of consistency. It's going to be hard for Jabeur, but I think generally, generally it's an interesting one. She's a relatively big server. I mean, first serve points won 75%, so she's doing really well behind the first serve. The second serve, only 38% in the previous match. So clearly, the second serve is attackable. I think that's what Ons Jabeur needs to do for sure. So we'll see how she gets on and how Alexandrova, can she make it 7-1 in the head-to-head? That would be incredible, right? It really would be. But Alexandrova is prone to an ace, but also prone to double fault. So we'll see. We'll see how that one gets on. But I think Jabeur needs to be really sharp on the second serve return for sure and make as many balls as she can on the first one, on the first serve. And then we've got a really interesting matchup, which I'll briefly talk about in Teichmann and Pegula. What a match that could be because Pegula's been really crunching the ball. She's such an attacking baseliner, isn't she? She really is. It's great to see someone like her playing as well as she is because against Andreescu, it looked like it could go either way, and she managed to get it done. I really love Andreescu. I really do like the way she plays, and I also love the way Pegula plays. So it was incredible to watch, I thought. A great spectacle for women's tennis. Now, as I said, a record of making the most quarterfinals in Masters 1000 tournaments in the last 12 months. Really impressive for the American. She just keeps on going from strength to strength. She's, of course, made, semi-finals of Grand Slams before. She's definitely tracking in the right direction. For Teichmann, the left-hander from Switzerland, it's great to see a lefty. And you might say that's a bit weird to say. No, but it is because there's not... I don't feel, and I could be wrong, there's that many really good left-handers on the women's tour. Now, of course, Leylah Fernandez is a recent one, but there's not a huge amount. In the top 10, are there even any? I don't think they are. I don't think there is. And I think it just adds an extra bit of spice, an extra dynamic to a semi-final, right? And I think for Pegula, it's going to be interesting because she hasn't faced a left-hander, if I'm not mistaken, so far. So that does mean that it's going to be a different proposition. I think that gives Teichmann the upper hand in terms of having to not adapt. She doesn't need to adapt to a game that much. I mean, Kalinina isn't quite as powerful as Pegula, but she's got enough power. But Pegula, the first serve is going to be key for her. But before we do that, let's go through the road to the semi-finals. So Teichmann beat Kvitova straight sets, great win. Fernandez in straight sets, great win. Rybakina in straight sets, great win. Kalinin in straight sets. I mean, just easy as you like. And then Pegula, 3 against Georgie, 2 against Kanepi, 2 against Andreescu, 2 against Ribas Torma, which is a really good win as well. She was in great form. Yeah, I mean, it is great. Really, really great from both players. They've been in great form, and I'm very much looking forward to this. I think the biggest dynamic for me is going to be the Pegula first serve to Teichmann first serve return dynamic, or just a general serve return dynamic, because Pegula's first serve is definitely a weapon, and she should hopefully, for her, she'll be looking to win. She'll be hoping to win some 3 points on it. For Teichmann, she's going to be looking to make as many balls as possible and really induce errors from Pegula. Because I think with Pegula, I think there's definitely some type of thinking that if you make her play as many balls as possible, she's potentially going to end up. I think she's going to potentially end up losing points because of unforced errors or making unforced errors and getting induced into it. So I think, yeah, a very, very interesting one. But for me, I think Pegula slightly edges it, but Teichmann is so dangerous. So we shall see how that one goes. Very much looking forward to it, though. It's going to be a great, great match. And yeah, some of these matchups are so good. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Of course, we weren't expecting any of these people really to make the semi-finals. I wasn't. Under Jabeur, I was, but even Pegula, I wasn't. Teichmann, I wasn't. Yeah. So very, very impressive. And yeah, I think it's going to be a very intriguing matchup for sure. But yeah, thanks very much, guys, tuning in. Please remember to smash that like button, please, if you haven't done so already. My prediction is Jabeur in straight sets and Teichmann. I'm going to go Pegula in 3, and then on Jabeur Pegula final is my prediction. But let's see. Thanks very much, guys. Stay safe and well, and yeah, see you on the next video. Let me know your predictions as well. Thanks very much.